Yo, what's up YouTube? Dirty Dan Gaming coming back with another Rise of Kingdoms video, and today we are going to be talking a little bit about the intro to Tides of War. This is going to be the first video and I think what's going to be a little bit of a longer series, and then as soon as Tides of War conclude, I will be doing kind of like a wrap-up video all-in-one type deal. But you'll see as we get into this, we're going to be checking out Tides of War. We're going to be checking out the tides that we have access to seeing right now. Some of the user interface stuff, healing potions, a lot of the introductory new things to Tides of War, just a little under or over 12 hours into this Lost Kingdom opening. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, so Lost Kingdom opened yesterday. We dropped in as we normally do. I actually streamed last night our opening. We had fun with a little bit of a roast session. We checked out the pre-KvK rankings, which we in 2581 ended up getting 5th. As soon as you drop into the map, it opens you up to your KvK screen. So through here, you can see, as we have been getting since a few updates ago, we kind of have a rough idea on timeline. So we can see here that on February 12th, the Great Ziggurat is going to open. And through here, you can see all of the different tides as they are going to be coming every 4 days. So you can see this one here, 3 days and 10.5 hours roughly until this Tide of Peace ends. Now, if we open up the tides menu, you are going to see that we are in the first tide, which is Tide of Peace. You can defeat barbarian patrols in the Lost Kingdom to earn healing potions. Healing potions can be used to heal severely wounded units in your hospitals and will not expire until the end of the season. You can only obtain a maximum of 1,000 healing pots per day. However, that can be boosted through your personal directives. So at the start of each tide, you can pick one of these 4 personal directives. So prescription is going to be the one that will give you a boost to those healing potions, which is going to be roughly it's going to be exactly 1.5 million healing pots. Stay tuned. A few more minutes into this video, I'm going to be pulling up some screenshots, which is going to kind of detail to you what you can expect from healing aspect from these healing potions on T5 troops only. I don't have any T4 troops in my hospital at the moment, so we're just gonna have to bear with T5, and then that'll kind of give you a little bit of an idea. You can also have over here search and destroy, which will increase the amount of certain resource items earned, where it's food, stone, gold, level 1 resource packs from defeating barbarians. Over here, you can increase the action point recovery speed by 20%. And then lastly, you have efficient, which is going to reduce the number of crystals needed to upgrade your crystal mine and crystal research center by 5%. Now, if I go on to my notes on my Discord server for Kingdom 2581. So with efficient, you can save up to 290,000 crystals from upgrading your crystal mine and the research center cost. So I think a majority of the people in the kingdom went with this one to start. Again, you're going to be able to change this in 4 days. I believe these personal directives are going to stay as is throughout the entirety of the KvK. You're just going to be able to simply switch them over every 4 days or so. So probably when the fighting is going down, you'll probably pick up on inscriptions, since you're not going to be using your action points. That way you can just scoop up the extra little, healing potions that you need. I believe these are going to stay the same. Again, this is going to be the first video in like a series, because again, I don't have access to all the tides just yet. As we'll kind of keep going through here. So if I scroll over here, it tells us that the next tide is the Tide of Spring. So on this tide, when gathering food, wood, stone, or gold, you will earn an extra 5% individual resources and 50% alliance supplies. Alliance supplies can be redeemed using merits that are earned from killing / severely wounding enemy units in the alliance merit shop. So you can see here the personal directives actually are going to change. So in our next batch or our next tide, these are going to be some of the personal directives that we're going to have access to. So abundance, which is going to increase extra individual resources earned due to the effects of the current tide to 10%, so 5 to 10. Sturdy pickaxe, which is going to increase your gathering speed for food, wood, stone, and gold by 50%, but you will not earn any extra individual resources. Refining process, you will earn crystals when gathering food, wood, stone, or gold, but you will not earn any extra individual resources. Or pro bono, which you will earn extra honor points when gathering food, wood, stone, or gold, but you will not earn any extra individual resources. I think I'm probably going to be torn between sturdy pickaxe and refining process on this one. The extra 5% resources is whatever to me. I mean, with the state of resources in the game currently, I think that they are pretty easy to come across. So I don't think I'm going to focus so much on these resource ones, but anything that's going to give me more crystals or just the gathering speed would be pretty nice. 50% is pretty significant, I feel like. So we'll be kind of, again, in these future videos, we're going to be kind of jumping back to compare and contrast. The really other cool thing too on these tides is going to be the alliance directives, which it looks like these are going to change per tide as well. And I believe if I go over here into alliance directives and I go into overview, this is going to give you all of the directives as we go through the KvK. And I'm curious if these are going to be in order. So right now we have double time and lightning strike. On the next tide, which is going to be another tide of spring, we're going to get well provisioned, larder, looter, and honorable. So if we go back over here, alliance directive, overview, well provisioned, larder, looter, honorable. So these might be going in order from what it looks like. So it kind of follows suit. If we back out all the way over here, you can see we have one tide of peace, then we're going to have the tide of spring, and then we're going to get two battle tides essentially. I believe this fourth tide, if the screenshots are presented to me correctly, I believe this one is going to give us access to an artifact. So roughly about 16 days in, which I believe Zone 5 fights will have concluded at this point, we will have fighting for these third set of directives, which is going to be back at it, back from the brink, and standing tall. So defeated troops teleport back to their city, and if you flip these cards, you can see that these are going to have durations and cooldowns. Now, these are going to have limits to which you can use them. You can't see the limits until the tide begins though. So how do I know this? Because over here, double time, you can only use once. Lightning strike, you can only use 2 times. I'm going to touch on these in a few minutes as well. I just want to kind of peek at what these are going to be for our first fights. So back at it, defeated troops teleport back to their city after they're defeated. So 2-hour duration, 24-hour cooldown. That's pretty nice. That calls for some pretty intense and aggressive fighting. Back from the brink, whenever an alliance member is in combat, 25% of their dead units will be converted into severely wounded units, and 25% of their severely wounded units will be converted into slightly wounded units. So this is going to be pretty nice for those fort fights that we're going to have in these first zones. So instead of the 50%, we're going to get boosted to 75% from what it looks like. Actually, these are going to be straight converted into severely wounded units. So we're going to be taking less deads in these zone 5 fights. So this would be really nice if we get banged up against a couple forts and we need to get them down, or we don't get them down in time, and we're just, you know, pounding troops into these forts trying to get them down. And then lastly, for these zone 5 fights, it looks like we're going to have standing tall. This is going to increase building durability, recovery speed by 100%. This directive does not affect burning buildings. I believe there's going to be one more too. From what I've seen in some of the other Tides of War fights so far, I believe we will also have flaming out, which is enemy buildings burn faster, because I've seen the animation on it. You see the fire on the buildings become much larger. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we are going to have flaming out on this. So I think we're going to have 4 alliance directives for those zone 5 fights. Maybe we have all of them. I'm not sure. Now the limits, I'm not sure. They should hopefully, you know, give us a few uses on those, as they do on here, double time and lightning strike. So if we look at these first Tide of Peace alliance directives, I think these are very key and pivotal. I'm going to give you my opinion on them. Leave a comment down below if you guys have any other suggestions or feelings on what these alliance directives should be used for. So the first one is going to be double time. Whenever an alliance member destroys a barbarian fort, all alliance troops gain 0.2 march speed. Your troops can gain up to 5% march speed per tide via this directive. Bonuses from this directive last until the end of the season. If your alliance issues this directive again in a later tide, the bonuses will stack with your previously earned bonuses. So you are going to be able to get up to 5% plus march speed from this double time directive. As you can see, you can only use it once. There's a 3-hour duration. You can use it once. I don't know. I should do my homework. If you're in one of these Tides of Wars, leave a comment down below if you can use 2 at the same time. I meant to ask VIP before making this video, but I totally forgot. So if you guys can do me a favor and help out, leave a comment down below if you can use alliance directives at the same time. I have a feeling you can because these work in conjunction with one another. Lightning strike: when a rally attacking a barbarian fort or a barbarian occupied holy site or pass, the rally's prep time can be reduced to 1 minute. It cannot be less than 1 minute. And then the rallied army gains 30% march speed. Cooldown is for 24 hours. The duration is for also 3 hours. So what I'm thinking is that you need roughly 250 forts to get to this max 5% march speed. That is impossible to do without this lightning strike, in my opinion. This means that your now preparation time, which is roughly about 3.5 minutes due to alliance tech, 3.5 minutes is now shrunken down to 1, and you have 30% extra march speed on top of the 20% march speed that you're getting from alliance tech anyway. So your troops are going to be flying to these forts. So this, I believe they should be used in conjunction with one another. I believe you should set up double time like you would with a KvK event, like you would with any other alliance event, Silk Road. You want to have as much activity on as possible to ensure that you're going to get this maximum 5%, because again, 250 forts in a matter of in a matter of 3 hours is pretty steep. I know we were just cranking out. We went through a massive comeback on our stage 3 of Marauder forts, but 250 is quite the feat. So that's how I believe this should work on the first alliance directives for Tides of Peace. Again, if you guys have experienced this Tides of War, if you're in that schedule that's just a little bit ahead of us, please let me know down in the comments if you can use both, and if this is a strategy that you guys have implemented in your alliance and or your kingdoms. And then yeah, so you can only see one tide, the next tide per. So that's alliance directive, that's personal directives, and then it's going to be interesting to see what these personal directives are going to be for our battles as well. It's going to be pretty cool. So the last thing I want to kind of show you guys is the healing aspect of this. Now, I personally believe that you should look, you're going to be saving speed ups, but it's going to be minimal. You're going to be doing like 10k for every 1 million healing pots that you can use. So as you can see here, you will use your healing pots first. It's going to both reduce, when you use healing pots, it's going to reduce the amount of resources and the amount of time that you are using. So I'm going to throw up a screenshot right now. This is pretty much going to show you, or this way. This is pretty much just going to show you the exact amount. It is going to be 10k T5 that you're going to be able to heal with your 1 million healing pots that you can obtain per day on this first tide, right? So again, this is going to be part of this is the stipulation of this tide. So you can only earn 1.5 million. So if we do some quick math, at the maximum you're going to get 1.5 million. So if we do some quick math times 4 days, that's 6 million pots that you're going to be able to obtain, which means in these 4 days you're going to get 60k T5 worth of healing. If we're rough estimating with T4, then maybe it's like 120 120, 140, roughly 2 to 1, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not astounding. It's not like, oh my gosh, I need to go and burn all my AP. No, I've been just chaining barbs. I haven't used any AP yet. I've just been chaining barbs, and I naturally just ended up finishing this within like the first hour. So let's see if I can find some reports where I am obtaining all the rewards have cleared already. But yeah, I obtained this 1 million relatively quickly. I don't remember the drops that I was getting, but it was pretty significant. I think it's like 20k per drop on the barbs. Let me see, 22k per drop. So yeah, pretty legit. But you're only getting so many. So I would personally pick a different alliance directive, as I have. I think the 290k crystals means a little bit more than the what is it, the rough math. I got rid of the screenshot, so I'm doing this off the top of my head now. So what, the maybe 1 day worth of speed ups, I think 1 day worth of speed ups in comparison to the 290,000 that I can save with efficient is a little bit better. And then again, yeah, I don't think, unless you're really going ham on these barbs, which I don't think you should do in the first zones anyway, this one could be a good second choice, I think. And then search and destroy extra resources. I don't think many people really need the extra resources, but if you do, then go for it. So as we were kind of simplifying it in Alliance chat, this is going to get you more resources. This is going to get you more, save you more speed ups. This is going to get you more of everything. Honestly, this is getting you more crystals, more speed ups, more resources, more honor. This is going to get you, and then efficient. So I would say these are definitely a close 1-2. If you're super mega whale who doesn't care about crystals, then forget about efficient and just go vigorous. And I think with that, that's pretty much it. Didn't want to make this all too long, and there's not much information that we're getting. So there is myself, and then there also is Skinsy. I was on him already, so I was like, yo, where's the videos? Like, let's go, let's do this. We are probably the only 2 content creators that are in a Tides of War right now. So if you guys want more Tides of War content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. We are going to be streaming pretty regularly through this KvK. I believe we have first fights coming up in probably about a week. So stay tuned for that, and make sure you hit that like button on the way out. With that, happy hump day. Almost Friday. Enjoy the rest of your days. I'm out. Take care. Have a good one, guys. Later. Peace.